Hey guys, I wanted to share a story with you. It's going to be a personal story that happened to me at my granny's. um, Also, for the members only, I'm going to be doing a video drop Thursday. And if you're not a member, you won't be able to see the video until either Friday or Saturday. I'm not sure yet. But if you're a member, you'll get first drop of the video. Um, I had surgery. I'm starting to get to where I can talk better, so y'all get to hear more of me right now. So I'm going to do a video. I just want to let the members know, if you're not a member, we'd like to have you as a member on our channel. You can join our channel. We're going to start doing a lot more member drop video and content. You know, a long time ago, when I was younger, me and my cousin, we were playing outside. And out in front of the house, we had these large shade trees, and then we had the yard light that was out in the driveway. It was a circle drive. And we were playing out in the front yard where there was a big picture glass window where they could see us. It was nighttime. And out on the other side of the yard, just not far, just a little ways, was a fence that ran, you know, back and forth, that fenced in the front yard. That fence was covered in, my mind went blank, but the fence was covered in honeysuckle. On the other side of the fence was a drive that went up to the hog pasture. Then the hog pasture was beyond that fence. So me and my cousin was playing out there that night. He was a little younger than I was, and we'd been running in the front yard underneath the trees and stuff and playing around. And we thought we heard something walking. And I looked at him and I said, "Did you hear that?" And he said, "Sounds like somebody's over there." So, you know, we get to listening and we get to watching, and we're sitting there and we're not seeing anything. We're not hearing anything anymore. And all of a sudden the fence just starts shaking real hard, like something grabbed it, just really started shaking it. And we took off running. When we took off running, it started laughing at us. Whatever it was had a weird, I called it weird, evil laugh. It wasn't a human laugh, but it was a laugh. You could tell it was a laugh. It was like a chuckle. So we ran into the house. Well, that night, things had got a little worse. And it was beating on the house that night and scratching at the doors. And, you know, just a lot of things started really happening. There was knocking at the door. And we couldn't figure out how somebody or something was knocking on the door and then getting away before we could see who it was. So we went to the picture glass window, and we were peeking out the window watching the front porch door where it was knocking, which was a big door. It was plexiglass and locked. And we heard the knock, but nothing was there. We couldn't figure out what was knocking and not us being able to see it. So we called my uncle, and he had came down, and he was looking around with his flashlight, and he said, "Well, there's what it is." He said, "You boys know what that is?" And was like, "No, what is it?" He said, "That's an upside down knuckle." We didn't get it at first, what he was talking about, until he explained it to us. The reason it was upside down is because whatever was knocking on the door was on top of the house, leaning over, knocking on the door. Probably hoping we would open the door, and then it would have been above us, which that would have been terrible probably. I don't know if it would have hurt us, if it would have touched us, or just tried to scare us. You never know. That night, my granny was sick, and the girls would take, you know, turns taking care of her. And I was laying in the bed that my mom normally laid in. There was an old water cooler. It was in the window that was almost exactly the same height as the bed. My mom was sleeping in the front room that night because I was staying, and I was sleeping in the bed that she slept in. The front room was a little closer to where my granny was staying. While I was laying there, I heard something say my mom's name through the old water cooler. I'm not gonna lie, it scared me really bad. I jumped up and I grabbed the 30-30 that my dad had bought me for Christmas. I ran in and told my mom what had happened. She came in there, and of course we were quiet in the house to move around so that it didn't know where we was at in the house. We'd been taught that the whole time, to be quiet. So we're standing there, and my grandma had a bell that she would ring when she would need help. She had had a stroke, and she was paralyzed on one side of her body. We heard the bell ring, and we went to check on her, and she was asleep. We thought maybe she had rung the bell and maybe fell back asleep by the time we had went in there to her. A little bit later, we hear the bell ring. We go back in there. She's still asleep. Mom woke her up and asked her, "Did you need us?" And she said, "No, I was sleeping." So we go in and we're sitting in the dark and we're listening, trying to figure out what's going on. And we hear the bell ring again. We go in there. Granny's asleep. But then we realized what was going on. This creature, whatever it was mimicking Granny's bell outside with whatever it had. It sounded like a bell. And it was watching my mom walk past the window to go check on Granny. It had learned to mimic that bell. It was speaking my mom's name. It had learned to mimic the bell, and it had climbed up in the trees to look in the window. And this tree was not far from the window. It's like 5 yards. So it's sitting right there in the window watching us through the window. It was a few nights after that, me and my cousin, we had decided to hunt it. And that's the incident in the video that I done. It was called the cattails, where we had shot a creature in the cattails, not sure exactly what it was. And you know, we always wondered what was down there, why was it there, and what was it doing? Would it hurt you? We know that it always tried to open the doors. We know that it would always push on the doors. We know it would turn the doorknobs. You could be laying there on the floor at night watching TV with my granny. She'd stay up late with us, and we'd be watching TV, and next thing you know, the dog outside, he starts barking. He'd run around the side of the house, probably away from it, not toward it, and the doorknob would rattle while you're sitting there, and you could hear the door like it tried to come in. It was really scary times for me. Being young, it was scary for my cousin. I mean, we hated what it was doing. The sounds it would make when it was breathing, it was gurgly. It would scratch on the house, beat on the house. It would moan, it would scream, it would howl. Just terrible noises you would hear all night. There was many times that we called the law, and the law would come out and they would spotlight around, and they would always say they'd never seen anything, probably just a prowler. Later on, we started talking to the neighbors that lived down from my granny and asked them if they'd ever had anything going on at their house. It was weird. They did. Their daughter was having trouble at her bedroom with something scratching on the wall, making these weird noises. And they were having their chicken doors left open, things moved around the yard, but nothing ever killed. And it never killed anything or took any of my grandpa's livestock or anything like that until the one night that it was mad, and it cut the pig's head off and it stuck it on a pole at the gate. Why it was there and what it was doing was a lot of the questions that I always had. Why was it there? Why was it every night doing the same thing, scratching on the house, beating on the house, making noises? Why was it trying the doorknobs? Was it trying to come in? We know it did come in one time because it was standing over the bed with my mom's sister asleep. She first saw it standing at the doorway into the bedroom. She covered up her head because she was afraid. She was young. She was sleeping by Granny and her other sisters. And then as she's laying there, she uncovers her head and it's standing over the bed. She covers her head back up. It walks past the end of the bed to go into the other bedroom where the other kids were sleeping, runs its hand across her feet. She's so terrified, she can't say anything. So I always wondered what it was doing, why it was there. Everybody always thought it was more after my mom. My mom probably had the closest encounter to it. And she always said the closest that she could explain to what it looked like was the movie Silver Bullet, the werewolf. She said it wasn't exactly like it. And to this day, you can show her pictures of things and she'll always say that's not it, but it's close. And I just always wondered, why was it always there? Why did it do what it did? Why would it stay so long and chase the kids, call the kids' names, follow them, stalk them? Nobody ever knew. And there was some really scary times. I mean, there was times where we just knew it was going to come in that back door. Or we just knew it was going to come in a window. Or better yet, we was going to walk into one of those dark bedrooms and it was already going to be standing in there looking at us where it came in one of the old windows. That was always a fear. Luckily, it never done that to none of us. But there was a lot of other things that happened. But I wanted to share a little bit of this with you guys tonight. I hadn't made a video in a while, and I want to talk a little bit about what happened to me in my younger days and kind of what got me into the cryptids. I didn't choose them, they chose me. I was raised in it, I didn't ask to be. But I always wondered what they were, why they were there, where they came from. And we probably still don't know any more now than I knew then. Just more evidence and more sightings and more noises. What they're doing, I don't know. Where they come from, I have theories from the fallen ones, the Nephilim. Not even real sure of that. It's just a theory. It's just an opinion. Hopefully one day we'll get closer to knowing what these things are. And through investigations of what we're doing and other people are doing, we're going to come closer to finding out what they are, where they come from, and maybe even what they're doing. But I wanted to share this with you guys, and thank you for watching. I appreciate each and every one of you guys. Don't forget to hit that like button. It's really important. Share it out to one friend to get it out there, guys. And until next time, keep your head on a swivel, and I don't take none of you for granted. Each and every one of you is important to me on this channel, and we'll see you on the next one. And don't forget, there'll be a member drop on Thursday. Thanks for watching, guys.